picking up where I left off, reading the books and chapters of the New Testament that go over the time where Yeshua is as the Passover lamb of the first year. It's compiled in the Chronological Gospels, and I read some of them, but I'm going to go over the first Passover lamb, which was in Egypt, and it's talked about in Exodus 12, how God tells them to take a lamb on the 10th day of the first month and to keep the lamb until the 14th day. The lamb is to be a male of the first year, and on the 14th day in the evening to kill the lamb and take the blood and strike it on the two side posts and up on the upper door posts, to roast the flesh and eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. But I want to read I'm going to read about it in Exodus 12, but I like this version because it brings out things that aren't said in other versions. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, "This month shall mark for you the beginning of months. It shall be the first of the months of the year for you. Speak to the whole community of Israel and say that on the 10th day of this month, each of them shall take a lamb to a family, a lamb to a household. But if the household is too small for a lamb, let him share one with a neighbor who dwells nearby, in proportion to the number of persons. You shall contribute for the lamb according to what each household will eat. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a yearling male. You may take it from the sheep or from the goats. You shall keep watch over it until the 14th day of the month, and all the assembled congregation of the Israelites shall slaughter it at twilight. They shall take some of the blood and put it on the two doorposts and on the lintel of the houses in which they are to eat it. They shall eat the flesh that same night. They shall eat it roasted over the fire with unleavened bread and with bitter herbs. Do not eat any of it raw or cooked in any way with water, but roasted, head, legs, entrails, over the fire. You should not leave any of it over until morning. If any of it is left until morning, you shall burn it. This is how you shall eat it: with your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it hurriedly. It is the Passover offering to the Lord. For that night I will go through the land of Egypt and strike down every firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and I will mete out punishments to all the gods of Egypt. I, the Lord. The blood on the houses where you are staying shall be a sign for you. When I see the blood, I will pass over you, so that no plague will destroy you when I strike the land of Egypt. This day shall be to you one of remembrance. You shall celebrate it as a festival to the Lord throughout the ages. You shall celebrate it as an institution for all time. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and on the very first day you shall remove leaven from your houses. For whosoever eats leavened bread from the first day to the 7th, that person shall be cut off from Israel. You shall celebrate a sacred occasion on the first day, and a sacred occasion on the 7th. No work at all shall be done on them, only what every person is to eat, that alone may be prepared for you. You shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for on this very day I brought your ranks out of the land of Egypt. You shall observe this day throughout the ages as an institution for all time. In on the 14th day of the month at evening you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the morning or of the month at even. No leaven shall be found in your houses for 7 days, for whoever eats what is leavened, that person shall be cut from the community of Israel. Whether he is a stranger or a citizen of the country, you shall eat nothing leavened in all of your settlements. You shall eat unleavened bread. Moses then summoned all the elders of Israel and said to them, Go, pick out your lambs for your families and slaughter the Passover offering. Take a bunch of hyssop, dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and apply some of the blood that is in the basin to the lintel and to the 2 doorposts, for none of you shall go out the door of his house until morning. For when the Lord goes through to smite the Egyptians, he will see the blood on the lintel and the 2 doorposts, and the Lord will pass over the door and not let the destroyer enter to smite your home. And I want to go over this note here. By Passover, it has a C. It says protect. So I want to read that again. For when the Lord goes through to smite the Egyptians, he will see the blood on the lintel and the 2 doorposts, and the Lord will protect the door and not let the destroyer enter and smite your homes. Now this is important because in Revelation it talks about the destroyer, and it talks about them overcoming by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony, which is covenant. The word and the blood is covenant. And I wanted to go over this note where it was talking about the Passover offering. This is how you shall eat it, with your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it hurriedly. It is a Passover offering to the Lord. Passover offering, but it says a protective offering. The Passover lamb is its protection. I'm going to read something else where I brought this up. Messiah came to live and fulfill all the feast days of the Lord. These are the 7 feast days, and this is what happens during those feast days. During Passover, unleavened bread and first fruits, a bride is chosen, and God is preparing his kingdom of priests. On Shavuot, the bride is made ready by betrothal. These 2 together are the covenant, the blood of the Lamb and the word to that covenant, the word, the 10 words, the 10 utterances of God. Then the Feast of Trumpets happens. The Day of Atonement is the bride is married, and Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles, is the marriage feast. So I'm going to go now to pick up where I left off on Yeshua, the Passover Lamb of the first year. I left off here, and it's talking about the time when the Kohanim came to him and said, by whose authority do you do these things? And it says, Yeshua begins his last day of teaching in the temple, and this is the 12th day of the first month. So as a Passover lamb, he has two more days, because the 14th day is the day that the Passover lambs are sacrificed. By whose authority is talked about in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, not John. So I'm just going to read. That was Matthew 21:23. When Yeshua came into the temple, the ruling Kohanim and the elders of the people came to him as he was teaching and said, By what authority do you do these things? And who gave you this authority? Yeshua answered them, I also will ask you one thing, which if you tell me, I likewise will tell you by what authority I do these things. The mikveh of Yachanan, John baptizing people, baptism of John, was it from heaven or of men? They reasoned with themselves, if we shall say from heaven, he will say to us, then why did you not believe him? But if we shall say of men, we fear the people, for all hold Yachanan as a prophet. So they answered Yeshua, we cannot tell. Then he said to them, neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things. And I'm going to go back and read, because in this there's a footnote where the person that compiled the scriptures in this chronological order wants to explain what they're talking about, by what authority. So it says the temple authorities are referring to Yeshua's overthrowing of the money changer tables on the previous day. The Sanhedrin made a Takana, a law which they insisted changes the Torah law, giving the merchants the privilege of doing business on the Temple Mount, and Yeshua dramatically asserted that they had no such authority. He had performed the same act of defiance the previous year in John 2:13 through 22. In both cases, they demanded to know by what authority he was operating under that could possibly trump their purported authority to make new laws, to which they insisted that even the Almighty must submit. And that's from the Babylonian Talmud, Baba Metzia 59a through b. The conclusion: we the rabbis pay no attention to a heavenly voice. Okay, I'm going to finish by reading Mark and Luke talking about it. Mark 11:27. They returned to Jerusalem, and as he was walking in the temple, the ruling Kohanim and the sages and the elders came to him and said, by what authority do you do these things, and who gave you this authority? Yeshua answered and said to them, I will ask you just one question, and if you answer me, I will tell you by what authority I do these things. The mikveh of Yachanan, was it from heaven or of men? Answer me. They reasoned among themselves, if we say from heaven, he will say, then why did you not believe him? But if we say of men, they knew they would be in trouble, because they feared the people. Everyone counted Yachanan to be a true prophet. So they answered Yeshua, we cannot answer you. So Yeshua answered them, neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things. And now Luke 20, verse 1. As he taught the people in the temple and preached the gospel, the ruling Kohanim and the sages came upon him with the elders and said, tell us by what authority do you these things, or who is he that gave you this authority? He answered them, I will also ask you one thing, and you answer me. The mikveh of Yachanan, was it from heaven or of men? They reasoned among themselves, if we shall say from heaven, he will say, then why did you not believe him? But if we say of men, the people will stone us, for they are all persuaded that Yachanan was a prophet. So they answered that they could not tell whence it was. Yeshua said to them, neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things.